Yes, February, as we say, is quite young months. Usually, the Romans used to have a calendar of 10 months only. The first month used to be March. The year, yes, started in March. And the 10th month of the Roman year was December. Yes. Now, in our time, December is the 12th month, but decimal is 10. And so they lived for a while. And they did not have, or they did not count the winter time because there was no agriculture activity, because in the winter everything is sleeping. So they did not count those months of winter. So they jumped immediately from December to March, but it doesn't work. And they understood they are in a way mistaken. They have a jet lag in the seasons. And then they added 2 more months that now are familiar to us as January upon the goddess Juno, and then February. And then we have the year as, at least in the names of the months as we know it now. The original year of the ancient Roman calendar was consisted of 304 days. Yes? Considering the fact that today we have a solar year of 365, is a lack of 65 days. So they understood. Imagine to have a jet lag of 61 days and then you landed another season. So do you understand, Cindy? They had only 10 months. The year started in March, in the equinox, when the night and the days are even, 21st of March. This is how they started. They count 10. December ends, and then they don't count the time because nothing moves in the winter. And then if you continue like this few years, you end up very outside of the order of nature. So they added 2 more months, January and February, and now it's approximately as the year is familiar to us in terms of structure. They had few changes, yes, during the course of history. You can read about it. This is an open, let's say, information. You can read about it. Do you have any questions so far on something that you read or something that you wonder about? Please go ahead and ask. There is a verse, meanwhile, while you write, please continue writing. There is a beautiful verse, yes, of the Bible, a charity son, and cure or healing in its wings. And this is what we're experiencing this winter. This is a very mild winter, very warm winter, very merciful winter. And it's like a verse from the Bible that charity sun and has the healing or the cure on its wings, and we can stretch out a bit in space. Yes, there is a current warmer winter all over. Also in Europe, it is quite charity sun. Yes, do you know the verse from the Bible? Are you familiar with the verse? Let's find the source in which book. 1 second. 1 second. שמש צדקה ומרפא בכנפיה. מרפא is cure. בכנפיה. Where do we have it? This is Malachi 3:20. Malachi 3:20. Here it is. I'm just posting here the Hebrew, and then we can move because at the moment this is Malachi 3:20. Where are we here? Shabbat Shalom, Fernando. How do you do? How do you do? We're very happy to see you here. Was just mentioning to Cindy that we have a rather warm winter and the sun is healing. There is a charity sun here and it has a cure on its wings. And I was posting the source. Yes, the source. Where does it come from? This is Malachi, the prophet Malachi 3:20. Charity Sun. Hello, good afternoon, Abigail. Yes, Charity Sun and healing or cure in its wings because there's warm winter and we could stretch a bit. Happy to see you here, Abigail, Fernando. If you have any question on your mind, please feel free. I'm just in a way since you come, so I just offer. This is February. Yes, yes. Yes, very good to hear. So you can also unmute and speak, Abigail, Fernando. This is February 1st, and I was mentioning before to Cindy that this is a rather young month. February is a young month because before the ancient Romans used to have only 10 months. They used to have a calendar that consists of 10 months that start in March, in the equinox, 21st of March. They started counting. This is the year started. 10 months, December, decadecimal is the 10th, and the year ended. And they did not have names or they did not even count January and February as we're familiar with those months now, because we take it for granted that everybody are synchronized or is synchronized with this calendar, but not. So they had only 10 months and they had a lack because the solar year is 365. And in this year that they had only 304 days. So they lack 61 days. So they continue like this until they went out of the season. And then they understood that they need to add 2 more months because why did they did not count the winter months? Since there is no agriculture, activity. There's no movement in the field or in the forest because everything is frozen. So they did not count those days or those months because you're not moving. If you're not moving, there's no kinetic movement, you don't count. And they found themselves bouncing off the seasons. So they understood and they add 2 more months after December, January, and then February. And this is why we say it's a young month. It's a young additional to the Roman calendar. And in this month, they used to make a purification. This is the meaning, yes, of the month of February in Latin. It's purification. Purification from the winter to prepare us for the new spring, for the new year that will arrive in spring. So all over Rome, they used to have like ceremony, yes, of purification. So this is the name of February. Interestingly, they used to have those celebrations in 15th, meaning mid February. Here we have Tu B'Shvat. It's interesting. It's mid of Shvat. There is a celebration for the trees, for the forest, for the plants, for the spirits. It's interesting. Yes, Abigail. Oh, so happy to hear about it. Happy to hear about it. If you have any questions that you would like to ask, please feel free. The relation to time is so ancient, and we think that all of us are synchronized now. It's amazing. This is an amazing miracle, I would say, that all of us are synchronized. Yes, I was thinking about it. Yes, Carnival. Yes. You can unmute and speak if you wish. They used to consist, I mean, they used to make those ceremonies of purification. In Rome, they used to wear like heads of animals, yes, to, in a way, to remove the bad spirit also, and to be ready for the new year to come, for the new spring, for the new spirit. Yes, yes. It is quite interesting, all of it, because in a way our perspectives about holidays quite young, let's say the last 2000 years, 3000 years, because there is, so to speak, a documentation, but people are living on earth for many years, many years, and who knows what was, yes, what was the origin of all of those ceremonies, because the celebrations or the holidays are ancient, yes, than the documentation that we have about them. Yes, also Valentine. Yes, exactly. Yes, it is beautiful. We were in Europe in Valentine, and there was such a spirit because in Europe, there's so much snow in the season since December, since Christmas, January, February. There's still a very heavy snow. And suddenly, since there's a holiday, so everybody's just popping out. Even it's frosty and there's a snow, there is a reason to go out and to, in a way, to rehearse spring. It's beautiful. It's beautiful because if the tendency in winter is to be cozy or to spend more hours indoors, in a way, suddenly there's activity outside. Yes, and people going out for nature. And thank you, Fernando. What do you mean by this? About what is about what? Can you pronounce the word? I'm not sure. That starts with M. Yes, yes, I see. I see. I see. Thank you so much. Yes, thank you so much for sharing, Abigail. Thank you so much. Weinreb has a beautiful composition about how humanity used to celebrate, because it is quite young Christianity, so to speak, or the tradition that is like left for us, and writing or documentation is quite young. But before, people used to celebrate the seasons, the relation to the months, to the star, to the planets, to the moon. And what we, in a way, are left with is what we have now, but people used to relate to it. In a way, whenever we think that something is like fading out or is ending, is basically is like a misled, because there's always something which is new that comes from the source, always. There is always life which is coming from the source. So there is no need to be, in a way, to be upset or to mourn about things, because nothing is gone and nothing is lacking. Again, nothing is lost, gone, or lacking. Nothing. I would like to relate to what Fernando wrote, I think, few sessions ago, about Moses, that he was an orphan, so to speak. He was, let's say, the king or his daughter took him and adopted him, but he was an orphan. So the meaning of not feeling any connection to any story. Is this clear? Because the orphan is not, in a way, bounded in those walls of story. Do we understand it? This is also what happened to Joseph in Egypt. In a way, the Bible describes Joseph as Yefet Toar, like his mother, Yefet Toar, ויפה מראה, beautiful to look, figure and beautiful to look at. Luria looks at the letters, and what comes from those letters, the abbreviation of this verse of the Bible, is an orphan, yatom. Yatom is an orphan. Yatom, orphan. And Luria says something very interesting. If we take an orphan, not just as particular child, let's say also Leonard Cohen, just an example, he grew without father. His father died when he was 5. So, and sometimes tend to look at private stories as representing orphans. But now we should not speak about private cases, but what does it mean? Luria says, what is an orphan? Who or what is an orphan? Luria says the Vav, letter Vav, from the tetragrammaton is an orphan. Let's look at it and see what he means by that. The letter Vav is an orphan. Who can explain that? Who would like to explain that? Why Luria says that the letter Vav is an orphan? Why is that so? Who are the parents, let's say? Yes? Yes. 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 The letter Vav is an orphan because there is a disconnection. This is a beautiful thought of Luria that comes in the books. Yes? Yes. Very, very good. Very good. Very good. The Vav is an orphan because, so to speak, there is a disconnection, so to speak, between the source, wisdom and understanding, or the origin, and the manifested. There is a disconnection. So it is often people feel, and now it's not about being biologically orphan, but it is very common that people feel disconnected from the origin, from the source. They feel that they are foreigners in a foreign land. They don't find any relation, any connection to anything. What is Abba ve'ima? what is Abba ve'ima. We used to speak, or not we, Louis, I used to speak about Abba ve'ima, it's mother and father, but not mother and father in a biological sense, so to speak, the delivering parents, but as abstract, meaning father is wisdom, mother understanding, and those two referring to this hidden intelligence that streams through us all the time. Again, Abba ve'ima, or father and mother, wisdom and understanding, yes, those are not biological, those terms are not referring to biological people, but to infinite intelligence that streams from the source and revive the manifestation or the manifested world here. Is it understood, Abigail? This is just a term, Abba ve'ima. Yes, it is quite interesting because it's interesting, Fernando, that you bring those terms, Abba ve'ima, because people in Hebrew, those who speak Hebrew here, relate to Abba ve'ima as gods. It is interesting. People relate in this place, yes, because the language does not, in a way, separate the terms, relate to their biological parents as God and goddesses. This is a very, very dangerous thing. Very, very dangerous. It's not true. So, a lie, yes, it's a lie, yes. And to believe in this lie is not healthy, not for the how? 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 You ask me how? Very you cannot imagine. You cannot imagine. Just it's unimaginable. You cannot even in your, I don't know. Yes, it's very dangerous. Yes. It's an interesting. Now you have a bit of a window, yes, towards what is happening here. So just regarding to the term wisdom and understanding, or the letters Yod and He from the Tetragrammaton, those letters are referring to the source, to the hidden intelligence that revive all the manifestation. Because it's the source, those letters. Yes, or the origin and the source is always in a way in its hidden form, in a raw energy. We don't see it. We don't have access to it. Therefore, the Vav, yes, the letter Vav, is considered to be an orphan, not just the letter. All of us people do not, what? What is happening here? Yes, 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 yes. This is what turns everything. But when people come with this attitude to life, it's a shackle, you know. It's like shackles. You cannot walk many miles or even one step outside of home. It gives a glimpse of and more than tribal society, because not everything, of course, there's a high-tech scene here and there are people with development and so, but this is a very, very deep bite on people. Again, so the vav is like a line. So everyone who walks in the street is considered to be a vav. You can see there's a manifested body. The vav has branches, arms, and feet. but people do not feel connected. They feel like in the heart, they feel orphan. Yes. So the story about Joseph is not just a story about Joseph, it's about all of humanity that suddenly find itself scattered all over and without relation to the source. So orphan, again, is not a biological orphan, but people without connection to the source. There is no recognition of a connection to the source, that the life streams from the source. You felt orphan yesterday, Cindy. Why? Why didn't you call? Why didn't you type a message? Why didn't you type? We have this 24/7. For this reason, we have Discord. You can type here or ring. Everything is open. True, Fernando. It is 24/7. It's the chapel, the space is open 24/7. You can always knock at the door, write text, and people will call you back. If we don't manage to lift the phone on the right moment, you're always welcome to type a message, to call, and if we don't manage to answer at the moment, few moments later, you will get a reply. Why did you feel such orphan? Did you have thoughts, Cindy? The thoughts were like around you. Sometimes we are misled or lured, yes, to believe that the thoughts which are running there outside, yes, are the real thing. And it becomes sad, all of it. Therefore, we have friends, and therefore we have this space. There's always human connection here. There's always someone here. There are 200 people on the server here on Discord, 200. Most of them are not participating in those sessions, but there's always someone there. So in a way, the story is not just about Joseph, but is regarded, once he uses the symbol of the Vav, it's regarded, the symbol regards everyone. That most people feel disconnected, don't understand what they do here, what is going on, where to turn, where to go, what to do. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you, Cindy, for sharing. Yes, I understand. Yes, it happens at the same time, people from both sides do not feel very well. I understand. I also felt very dark, and I said, "What's going on?" And I looked at the calendar. It was the last day of the month. This is what it happens. Yes, so it's good to have those calendar with us all the time. I understand that. I do, Cindy. I understand that sometimes, yes, we're going through flu, through hardships, but it's only to what? To the eyes of the beholder. It's not that the children are not having flu. It's not that people that a relative do not cross through hard times or seasons in their lives. It's just to the eye of the beholder. Because for itself, there is no difficult or difficulties at all. And We are not left alone. We are breathing and we are communicating to each other. It is sometimes that the thoughts, again, are luring us, yes, to believe to those stories. It only happens to those kids in this house. It only happens to the siblings, yes. It's not like this. There are so many residents on this planet, 8 billion, more than 8 billion. I put a chart here a couple of days ago, more than 8 billion people. So it's not private. It's not private. How can it be a tree? Let's say there's an oak tree. A tree does not have this luxuries like humans that they have their own mind. They have his mind to grow, where to send its roots and then when to send branches. This is the, let's say, the mind of a tree, this intelligence of the tree. But the tree does not see himself as outside of nature. There's a communication to the other trees, to the bees, to the air, to the elements. Yes. But we tend to fall into, how do you say, uh, to believe our own thoughts. And this is what happens. How do we define the fact that we are lured to believe to our thoughts without conversing to another person? How would you call this process? The Bible describes great scenes of hunger, of famine. If you pay attention, the Bible does not speak about lack of water or thirst. Yes, we have modes. One of them is hunger, another one is thirst. Thirst is not so much mentioned as a crucial point as hunger or famine. What happens when we believe or when we consume, when we are consuming the thoughts that the brain is generating? It's like famine. It's like hunger. This is the meaning of hunger. Do you understand? There are points in the Bible in which the mothers or the parents are eating the children because the famine is so heavy. When somebody consumes, meaning is being fed from his own thoughts, this is famine. Do you understand or not? Shall I explain? Is this understood or not so much? It means that there is no connection to the source, to the origin, and one is eating his own thoughts, like he's eating his own flesh, so to speak. I'll try to give an example. In in uh, in some places, there is a term. I don't know how to say this in English. I'll say it in Hebrew and then I'll try mechanically to translate it into English. But there is a sense in communication, let's say building or something, that you have a guard and he has a camera of what is happening in the lobby. So they call it in Hebrew, televizia במעגל סגור, is like television in a closed cycle. So the one who is nourished or let himself drink or eat, doesn't matter, from his own, yes, the thoughts that are running in his head, like it is an absolute truth, is basically in a situation of famine. Because what is famine in Hebrew? What is the word for famine? Ra'av. Ra'av. This is famine or hunger. Ra. I will open it. Ra. Ra is bad. Yes? And bet, too. Twice bad. Once, Friedrich Weinreb explained what is bad. Mathematically, when good, tov. Yes, let's write it in English. Good. Good. The value of good in Hebrew is 17. Oh, 1 to 7, the source, and the 7 days of the week. This is good. And what is bad? Ra. You will find it interesting how he sees this mathematically. Ra. Bad. What is bad mathematically? It is 200. Let's say Resh is 200 and Ein is 70, or in small numbers, 2-7. So what is bad, according to Weinreb? That the source is a dualistic source. This is bad. Do you understand? And then it splits into bad, because the letters of Ra'av in Hebrew, famine or hunger, holds first the letters of bad. Resh Ein, Ra, and then bad, twice bad. Yes? So, why do we define the one who consumes his own thoughts as a famine or as hunger? First of all, he or she believes that they are the thinkers. They are the origin of the thoughts. And then they consume it. So this is, in a way, twice far from the origin, because they believe first that they are the generator of the thoughts, whatever scenarios come in their mind. Yes, they believe that they are the generator. They are capable of thinking. Yes, and then they're also being nourished from those thoughts. This is the meaning of famine. To be nourished from a very random thoughts that are running in your head, and to believe this is absolute truth and to eat it. Yes. In the Bible, when there's a great famine, so much so, there's like two kinds of famine. If you pay attention, that people are leaving the space and they're moving somewhere else, like in the story of Naomi, that they leave the place and they walk somewhere else. And there is a great famine in which the parents eating their children. You would say this is a barbarian thing. If you ask people, they will tell you it's barbarian, cannibalism. Yes. But What the Bible tries to tell us is that when someone consume his own thoughts, it's like to eat the children at home. Do you understand that? You would not dare to think that it, you know, you would not dare to do it. But of course, nobody sees me thinking. Nobody sees me thinking. It's invisible. So in people's mind, everything is just I'm thinking and I'm enjoying the meal. It's so tasty. This is famine. Because first of all, we believe that we are the generators, we are the source. Nobody is capable of thinking like me. And then we consume it as absolute truth. And this is famine. Ra'av. Double, we are in a way getting far away from the source. First, the source is not one, there are two, because I am the source. I'm the owner of my thoughts. Yes. And then I consume it. People think that to count calories or so, and they want to burn calories and they run and fitness, and they beat themselves over eating another bite from here and there. But to consume one's thoughts, it's much more dangerous, much more dangerous. You see that he will stop. This is how people used to behave. It's a very good question. Very good question, Cindy. It's very simple. Once the Bible says that the parents eat their children when it's famine, yes, Cindy, in the, how do you say, in this area, not just in this area of the Mesopotamia and Greek or ancient Greek and Egypt and South America also, they used to sacrifice children. Have you heard this before? Probably that in ancient Egypt, in the area, yes, in Greek, they used to sacrifice children, like babies, toddlers, like put them on fire. It, have you heard this? Yes. This idea, and now it doesn't matter if it happened in Egypt, in Greek, in the area, let's say Mesopotamia or South America, this idea of sacrificing the children is coming from a dualistic mind or of two. It's like a barter. What is sacrificing? Let's open it. What is to sacrifice? To bring something. Yes? So there's a barter. I want to win the war. What people used to do, you can open history books and see. Let's say, generals used to wish to win the war. So they sacrifice children because they want to guarantee their winning. So they put children. So what does it mean? It's a barter. Exchange can happen only between two because they see themselves outside of the world. Yes. And to answer your question, yes. Yes. Because it happened in Abraham's mind. It did not happen in Sarah's mind. This speech. Take your son that you love. Da, 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 da. Why the Bible? If you read yes, if you read very deeply the text, why take your son that you loved? Because why take your son in the interpreters of the Bible says which son, because there's two, Ishmael, and suddenly there are two sons that you love. I love them both, he says, Ishmael and Isaac. Isaac, again, it's a, how do you say, it's a tango, all this chapter, yes, of sacrificing Isaac, Akedah in Hebrew. It's a tango. Until this tango is always dance between two, until it stops. It goes on duality. The more you read the chapter, you see there are two, until it stops. There aren't two. You are not capable of thinking anything. You're not the father and there's no son. Just there's a stream of life. There's only presence and being. We tell ourselves, we call name. When if you have pets at home or next by, probably, or your neighbors have, or in the movies you have seen, most of the times we give those pets names. Yes. Maybe you have at home, even you name your fish or your kitten or dog or something. We give names. We relate to things. But there is how do you say, a temptation. Because us humans have the capability, we are granted, you don't have it, we are granted with the ability to speak, or speaking goes through us. And we tend to believe that we are the generator of speech, of words. And it goes that far that we tend to believe what happens to Abraham, that we, in a way, outside of the world. Because we are capable of giving names. This is what happened also to Adam in chapter 2 in the Bible. He could name everything. Very intelligent, super intelligent human being. Adam of the second chapter of Genesis, but he is incapable of relating. So to all of us, it happens not even once per day. Just don't bite into this bait. The ability to speak that comes through us gives us a very big head, what we think of ourselves and so on. But it only moves through us. This is not, yes, the body that is capable of speaking. It's the speech, the divine speech goes through us like flutes. And the speech is coming, and thoughts are coming. We are not the source of the speech, or not the source of the thinking. We are just receptors. So this is very good to speak to another human being, because it's said in a way, it just diffuses the overthinking that we have inside, because the tendency is always to disappear into this castle inside and to think that from few bits of data, if the children, let's say, have a flu and the brothers has something at work, everything is against me, and what can I do? Who thinks this? The thinking mind. We say the ego, the thinking mind, or the one who is identified with the body, but not divinity. So it's good to speak to a friend and to, in a way, to channel those souls and to put them, in their side, not to listen to them. Yes, 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 yes. This is a very, very good sentence to relate. It's like playing music. You're serving the song or the conversation. Yes. Everybody's serving a higher cause. Because when we are relating, what happens when we are relating to another person? There is no entity inside. There's only hollowness, like in flute. And this is what enables us to relate. There's only emptiness. Yes. When we think, even for a glimpse of a second, if I walk and I think I am, let's say the line, as they say in communication, is occupied. I cannot relate to something which is happening around or any kind of happening because the line is busy. How do you hear the line is busy on the phone, ancient phone, or now the line is busy? So there's entity. The beautiful thing, if we are capable to see when we are when thinking happens through us, it's an entity, is a body. Is a body. And sometimes if you see somebody is in the process of thinking, he's like a stone. It's not moving. Is very rigid. And it's occupied. It's occupying the space, and in thinking, aren't capable of relating to another. And the beautiful thing about relating to another, that it's always in the moment what the moment bring about. And it's so free, because when relating to someone or to with something which is happening in a moment, what the moment brings is what we shall do. And at the moment, there is no personality. A name, an address, an age, so occupation. Just somebody needs a hand, so you give a hand. Somebody says hello, you say hello. Somebody asks the direction, so you say if you know the direction. But once this is happening, you are not this Fernando or Abigail or Sydney. You're not. It's just something that moves through you, and this is the great freedom, the nothingness. There is no higher freedom or happiness than this, and being nothing. This is the truth also. Yes, Cindy. Thank you. Thank you. Any more questions or wishes for the new months? Because there's a new month of Shvat, there is a new month of February. We shall happy to hear your voices. If you would like to bless the months, you can unmute and speak. Cindy, Abigail, Fernando. Thank you so much for sharing this space. I'm so happy to be with you and Cindy and Abigail, Fernando, and those who are hearing this. Whenever you feel you would like to talk, to change, exchange a sentence, a voice, a thought, even hard moment, we are open 24/7. Don't hesitate, even if it's Israel nighttime. Yes? Just everything is open all the time, and there's a free flow, free communication all the time. So don't hesitate to use it when you need, because it is for you. The whole platform, yes, is coming to serve you, serve us as humans. Toda rabba. Shalom, shalom, and a very good and happy month to all.